Hello, 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 hello. I'm still here. Give me a moment. I'm just doing some final preparations of this stream. I'll put out on my phone. And if I could ever use my paper towel for my sandwich, could ever. There we go. Give me about 10 seconds or whatever. All right, okay, so that took me longer than I anticipated. But, okay, so. I forgot. Lights, camera, action. Wiggles. Okay, I'm setting the pawn, not on, but like pawn my jacket. So if you hear any weird noise, it's from my jacket. All right. So don't worry. Here's the book. I haven't forgotten about the book. I have forgotten about y'all. Sandwiches. They taste good. So, I remember where we are. I see. Okay, before we get started, Godzilla -1 topic. Let's see. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so I won't do any spoils of Godzilla -1 just yet. That'll be for the next stream when Dominic, he's almost ready, but he's not like ready. Recently, he was like sick because he was caught with something or whatever. And so, just like right before you would think he's ready to continue this, I continue constructing this, right? And before I could get back to streaming again for my personal purposes, right? And sometime right after Halloween, and all of that other goody stuff, he gets sick, and then he's like sick for like 3 whole nights, roughly 2, and then um, thankfully he was not sick for Godzilla -1, but it's right. There's also another thing, like his mood. So right when we like think he's in the mood to do a thing, he then becomes sick or something, and it's not his fault. Okay, it's nothing. It's nothing that he could control. Becoming not that he was purposely making himself sick or anything like that. Nothing that he could control. It's just happened. And so Christmas is upon us, and he's now doing well enough to go shopping, so that he can go buying gifts for family and whatnot, and so that we can all buy gifts together. Don't worry, we have a way to like be secret about it and like purchase something without anyone else knowing. Anyways, so that's that out of the way. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm sorry, I'm typing away. I don't have a co-host at the moment to like help me out here. So there's other people texting me, so I have to take this real quick. It should take me 1 minute. All right. Godzilla. Okay, first, FNAF. I really liked William Afton's part. Yes, he's in the film. I really liked how Bonnie the bunny can like lift things, but then he's like, or no, he. I like how like no. I like my favorite character of the movie, in the spoilers, is Balloon Boy. Sorry, my thoughts are all jumbled up. Balloon Boy is my favorite because of several reasons. He just appears out of nowhere, and he jump scares Corey Kitchen. I think I've talked about this already. I don't think there was much there's much just talk about that spoils the movie. To be honest, I did say that I do want to talk about the FNAF movie, but I feel like I would be more collective if Dominic was right here next to me talking about the FNAF movie. But I do want to briefly talk about Godzilla -1. But I can't. But again, I won't talk in detail. Not briefly, in full detail. I can't talk about. No, yeah, briefly. I can only talk about it briefly, but not in full detail. Detail, right? So, anyways, with Godzilla -1, I could talk in full detail. So, minus the fact that there were a lot of rumors wrong. Apparently, and Dominic, my brother, Dominic, he heard a rumor that apparently there were actually going to be 2 Godzillas in the film. And that one Godzilla was actually taking the other Godzilla back to their home or something like that. That there's actually 2 Godzillas fighting each other, but one of them is attacking Japan and the other one is trying to save humanity or something like that. But here's the thing. Spoilers, by the way. Also, another thing, by the way, right? Spoilers, just major, not major spoilers, but kind of like minor spoilers just to get this rumor out of the way. None of that happened. It was just Godzilla attacking New York, attacking Japan, and during the aftermath of World War II. This is like roughly a few years after the bombs dropped in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So after those bombs were dropped, and after the imperialistic Japan leader of Japan finally waved their white flag. Say fine. No, notice, by the way, we only dropped 1 bomb. We didn't drop them simultaneously. Bogged down history and your grade school classes will only tell you that we dropped the bombs. No, we dropped 1 bomb, and then their government was like, "Nah, we got this. You're only bluffing. You don't have any more boom." Oh. What happened was they refused to surrender after the first bomb. Granted, we should not have dropped any bombs, in my opinion, right? But at the same time, it was either, I personally think we should have dropped the bomb not at a city, but dropped a bomb at their military base. But then I think at the time, we didn't know where their military base was, or even if we did know where their military base was, the options were very low. And when I mean very low, it's like, if we go to the military base, they might shoot down the plane and then just, right, and then nothing. It would be a misfire, or we might not misfire. We might miss the target of the military base because they have jet fires too. So I think the objective was to fly over Japan. I'm not certain all the facts, but anyways, their objective was to fly over Japan, drop 1 bomb, boom. Fly over Japan again, drop another bomb. After the fact that it didn't surrender, boom. During that time, one of the bombs had awakened Godzilla. Now, apparently what has happened was, I'm not certain, but the story is that Godzilla gets hit by the bomb, and then years later he then attacks, right? What ends up happening in Japan is that this Godzilla gets hit by the atomic bomb, becomes like a giant scary monster, right? But he's not too giant. He's kind of just um, say okay, hold on. You know how like this is a minifigure, right? So you get this little minifigure, and say human size scale, and this is Godzilla, right? Chocolate. Notice, yeah, he's big, but he's not. He's not too big. He's not overtowering, right? Now, see this minifigure. Now, um, then Godzilla went to over near like America's shore or something like that. I can't remember where they dropped the hydrogen bomb after World War II during the Soviet Union era, the Cold War. They dropped the bomb, and then it hit Then it hit Godzilla. Right, the hydrogen bomb hit Godzilla. Now, see, this is the human scale, right? I'm rough scale. I'm now Godzilla, right? To this human, right? Oh no, Godzilla, right? That's how quickly the transformation happened. Or at least that's what my brother explained. That the hydrogen bomb hit Godzilla. I'm not 100% certain if that's true or not. I remember watching the film, but I don't remember like the science part of it or the divergence of the Godzillas. Regardless of that, what I do remember is a lot. I do remember a lot of from the film. Once again. Well, anyways, I definitely do need to watch the movie again to get the facts right because it was still in Japanese, and so like, yeah, I could read the text, but then sometimes I'm so hyper focused on what the picture is showing versus what the characters are saying. And so they're slow paced at saying things, but there are some parts where it's kind of fast paced with the um with what's being said and what's happening and whatnot. But it's all right. Now, I give this movie a scoring of 10 out of 10. Why? Train. They had a train scene in it, and that's all I need. Okay, your movie will automatically gain 1 star. One entire star. Not a half star or anything. If your movie has a train in it. Okay? It had a train in it. So my score was already like 9 stars. So guess what? 9 out of 10 becomes a 10 out of 10. Boom. That's how math works. Anyways, give me a second. So yeah. But minus 1 billion other stars. Because minus 1 billion. Anyways. Um yeah, train. I like trains. I like old trains. I like new trains. But that's all. If so far we don't have any newer trains or modern trains, we just have trains. It's just yeah, we just reuse the trains. We do have subway trains, like trains that go through New York and whatnot, and in Japan like those bullet trains. Whew, that are very. I'm told that they're very fast. Um, All right. Okay. Sorry for another delay. So yeah. Anyways, and that's why I like Wolverine, the movie, the Wolverine, where they go to Japan. I think they went to Japan. I'm not certain. But anyways, there's a scene that like where they fight on the train. Um, and Wolverine's on it, doing his Wolverine like things. Right. And there's a train on it. Yeah. Okay. And oh, I don't remember I don't remember for that film. I have to say like maybe it was an 8 out of 10, and I bumped it up to a 9 out of 10. So yeah, there's a score where there's a movie with a train in it, and it's scored lower than Godzilla. So only automatically, if your movie either is about trains is if a movie is about trains or has trains in it or whatever, um, that's gonna be if I feel like that's cheating, maybe or no. Well, you're automatically gonna get a star, but if that makes sense. But anyways, Godzilla has a train in it, 1 star automatically. 8 no, not 8, 9 out of 10 stars, and thus bumps it up to 10 stars automatically. Anyways, hello, Kate Morton. You do not miss a thing. Just me talking. Sometimes me being on my phone, texting to someone, texting them real quick. Yeah, just chatting. But they are not part of the stream. It was just something I had to get done real quick, and then like just trying to hurry up. Yeah. Talk about Godzilla -1, sort of. Not gonna spoil anything much, but like I did say my spoiler warnings and all that other stuff. But like, if I'm gonna go full detail onto something, I will go full detail into that later. But I would prefer if Dominic was here. He's not here at the moment. He's just now feeling better. Well, today. So, but like he's not able to do a stream. So I also explained that earlier. Yeah. We're about to read the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Sandwich. So, I believe we're on the last chapter. Let me check the contents of this particular story. Dr. Leon's narrative. Okay, so we got this story, and then, well, I do not know what to do for the rest of the year. Probably, I'm probably gonna finish the entire book at least before the year ends. So I'm at least gonna do a stream before the year ends. I may have to do one. I may have to do a stream tomorrow in the morning or something like that. Something like that, maybe. So yeah, it's just fine. I'm gonna break that rule of like no streaming on Sunday. Actually, I might. I don't know. I might depending on what happens tomorrow because I'm a bit late tonight, but I do want to I do want to finish this book this year. So not this book, this story. This book is rather lengthy because it has a few other strange cases in it. But anyways, so last time I'm trying, and last time apparently what happened to Mr. Hyde, he apparently killed himself. or and they don't know what happened to Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll is gone. All right. What I just heard, and if you can hear that too, was a car pulling up someone's driveway, and they decided to honk their horn, even though that's actually considered rude, not just for the person you're picking up, but for the people that are in the neighborhood. If they have neighbors, especially in the fact if they have neighbors, especially if you're going to do that honking in the middle of night. Well, it's evening for me, but oh well. What do you think, Kate Morning? Should I just not do that honk thing? I don't know who started it. I don't know. We need to go back in time and kill whoever started doing the honk thing. That way, it could never be popular from whoever, right? Now, the thing is, it's a car horn. There's going to be an obnoxious somebody. So we're going to have to kill all the obnoxious somebodies. Or kill the person who invented the car horn. Because it's not useful. Car horns are not useful. They're not. My mom never uses it. And if anything, it's just loud noise. It's going to get everybody else on the road confused and startled. Yes, I understand the whole point of the car horn was to like, hey, tell the person up in front of you to hurry the fudge up. But other than that, it's more distracting than it is useful. I think it's completely bull. But anyways, we're going to get back to the story. Dr. Leon's narrative. On the 9th of January, now 4 days ago, I received by the evening delivery a registered envelope. I wanted to get rid of the person who invented cars altogether. Because now the person has decided to drive. But then again, if I kill the person who if I kill Henry Ford, we won't get Transformers. Now they're being loud about it, even though they're like off in the distance. It sounds like what they're doing. No, that's a different car. Can people just be more civilized with their vehicles? You probably can't hear it, but I can because I'm right bloody next to the bloody window. On the 9th of January, now 4 days ago, I received by the evening delivery a registered envelope, addressed in the hand of my colleague and the old school companion Henry Jekyll. I was a good deal surprised by this, for we were by no means in the habit of correspondence. I had seen the man, dined with him, indeed, the night before, and I could imagine nothing in our intercourse back then, and a less, meaning, weird meaning about it. Intercourse that should justify formality of registration. The contents increased my wonder, for this is how the letter ran. Oh wow, the letter is running now. Whee! Is your refrigerator running? Anyways, 10th December, comma, 18th. Dear Leon, you are one of my oldest friends, and although we may have differed at times on scientific questions, I cannot remember. Kate Morning, are you still here? I cannot remember, at least on my side, any break in our affection. There was never a day when if you had said to me, Jekyll, my life, my honor, my reason depend on you, I would not have sacrificed my fortune or my left hand to help you. Leon, my life, my honor, my reason are all at your mercy. If you fail me tonight, I am lost. You might suppose, after this preface, that I am going to ask you for something dishonorable to grant. Judge for yourself. Let me eat a sandwich so I can make that judgment myself. Oh. Mm. For yourself. I want you to postpone all other engagements for tonight. Hey, even if you were summoned to the bedside of an emperor to take a cab, unless your carriage should be actually at the door, and with this letter in your hand for consultation, to drive straight to my house. Poole, my butler, has his orders. You will find him waiting your arrival with a locksmith. The door of my cabinet is then to be forced. Oh. You are to go in alone, to open the glazed press, letter E. On the left hand, breaking the lock if it be shut, and to draw out with all of its contents as they stand, the fourth drawer from the top, or which is the same thing. The third from the bottom. In my extreme distress of mind, I have a morbid fear of misdirecting you. But even if I am in error, you may know the right drawer by its contents. Some powders, a file, and a paper book. This drawer I beg of you to carry back to you to Candavish Square exactly as it stands. Unless Candavish Square walks away. That is the first part of the service. Now for the second. You shall be back, if you set out at once the receipt of this, long before midnight. But I will leave you at the moment of margin, not only in the fear of one of those obstacles that can neither be prevented nor foreseen, but because an hour when your servants are in bed is to be preferred for what will then remain to do. At midnight, then, I have to ask you to be alone in your consulting room, to admit with your own hand into the house a man who will present himself in my name, and to place his hands a drawer that you will have brought with you from my cabinet. Then you will have played your part and earned my gratitude completely. 5 minutes. afterwards. If you insist upon explanation, you will have understood that these arrangements are of capital importance, and that by the neglect of one of them, fantastic as they must appear, you must have charged your conscience with my death or the shipwreck of my reason. There's no exclamation point behind the reason, but I like the dramatization I'm going with. So there we go. Confident as I am that you will not trifle with this appeal, my heart sinks and my hand trembles at the bare thought of such a possibility. Think of me at this hour in a strange place, laboring under a blackness of distress that no fancy can exaggerate, and yet well aware that, just making sure, if you will but punctually serve me, my troubles will roll away like a story that is told. Serve me, my dear Lion, and save your friend H.J. Postscript, or P.S. For those who don't know what P.S. means, it's postscript. I have already sealed this upon with a fresh terror struck upon my soul. It is possible that the post office may fail me, and this letter not come into your hands until tomorrow morning. In that case, dear Lion, do my errand when it shall be most convenient for you in the course of the day, and once more expect my messenger at midnight. It may then already be too late, and if that night passes without event, you will know that you have seen the last of Henry Jekyll. Ba, ba, ba. Upon reading the letter, I made sure my colleague was insane. But till that was proved beyond the possibility of a doubt, I felt bound to do as he requested. The less I understood of this far ago, the less I was in a position to judge of its importance. And an appeal so worded, my nose, could not be ow, my nose could not be set aside without a grave responsibility. I rose accordingly from the table, got into a hansom, and drove straight to Jekyll's house. The butler was awaiting my arrival. He had received by the same post as mine registered a letter of instruction and had sent at once for a locksmith and a carpenter. The tradesmen came while we were yet speaking, and we moved in a body to old Dr. Denman's surgical theatre. Dr. Denman. Hello, I'm Dr. Denman. Oh, I wonder if Dr. Denman's going to speak in this story. Oh, my nose. Something. Diddly-doo. Forgot the jet. Oh, okay. One sec. Okay. They changed the settings on that. I don't like it. Surgical theatre, from which, as you are doubtless aware, Jekyll's private cabinet is most conveniently entered. Ow. My neck here. Okay. The door was very strong, the lock excellent. The carpenter avowed he would have great trouble and have to do much damage if force were to be used, and the locksmith was near disrepair. Near despair. Yeah, despair. No, despair. Sorry, I misread that 3 different freaking ways. Despair. But this last was a handy fellow. And after 2 hours' work, the door stood open. The press marked E. E for Markiplier. E. The press marked E was unlocked, and I took out the roll. It had filled up with straw. It filled up with straw and tied in a sheet. Excuse me. And returned it with it to Cavendish Square. Here I proceed to examine its contents. The powders were neatly enough made up, but not with the necessity of the dispensing chemist. So that it was plain that they were Jekyll's private manufacture. And when I opened one of the wrappers, I found what seemed to me a simple, crystalline salt of a white color. Notice color is spelled slightly different. Colour. There. The phial, to which I next turned my attention, might have been about half full of blood-red liquor, which was highly pungent to the sense of smell and seemed to me to contain the phosphorus and some volatile ether. At the other ingredients I could make no guess. The book was an ordinary version book and contained little but a series of dates. Excuse me. I'm going to slouch here for a minute. These covered a period of many years, but I observed that the entries ceased nearly a year ago and quite abruptly. Not absurdly, abruptly. Here and there a brief remark was appended to a date, usually no more than a single word. Double, occurring perhaps 6 times in a total of 700 entries. Double day, a double dose. No, double. And once very early in the list and followed by several marks of exclamation. Total failure. All this, though, whetted my curiosity, told me little that was definite. Or defined? Definite? I think it's definite. Here were a file of some tincture, a paper of some salt, and the record of a series of experiments that had led, like too many of Jekyll's investigations, to no end of practical usefulness. How could the presence of these articles in my house affect either the honor, the sanity, or the life of my flightly colleague? If his messenger could go to one place, why could he not go to another? And even granting some impediment, why was this gentleman to be received by me in secret? The more I reflected, the more convinced I grew that I was dealing with a case of cerebral disease. Oh no! Not cerebral disease. And though I dismissed my servants to bed, he unloaded a revolver. Anyways, I loaded an old revolver that I might be found in some posture of self-defense. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't know why you would be that defensive. 12 o'clock had scarce rung out over London. ere the knocker sounded very gently on the door. I went myself at the summons, and found a small man crouching against the pillars of the porch or the portico. Huh? Anyway, so the portico. "Are you from Dr. Jekyll?" I asked. He told me yes, by a constrained gesture, and when I had bid him enter, he did not obey me without searching the backward glance into the darkness of the square. There was a policeman not far off, advancing with his bull's eye open, and at the sight I thought my visitor had started and made greater haste. These peculiars struck me, I confess, disagreeably, and as I followed him into the bright light of the consulting room, I kept my hand ready on my weapon. Here, at last, I had a chance of clearly seeing him. I had never set eyes on him before. So much was certain. He was small. As I have said, I was struck besides with the shocking expression of his face. His were a remarkable combination of great muscular activity and great apparent deliberity of constitution, and, last but not least, with the odd or subjective disturbance caused by his neighborhood. This bore some resemblance to an incipient rigor, and it was accompanied by a marked sinking of the pulse. At the time, I had set it down to some idiosyncratic, I'm not going to try to properly pronounce that one. I know I have a Google, but I'm not going to. Idiosyncratic. I'm going to assume that's it, to pronounce it roughly. Personal distaste, and merely wondered at the acuteness of the symptoms. But I have since had reason to believe the cause to lie much deeper in the nature of man, and to turn on some nobler hinge than the principle of hatred. This person, who had thus, from the first moment of his entrance, struck in me what I can only describe as the disgustful curiosity, was dressed in a fashion that would have made an ordinary person laughable. His clothes, that is to say, although they were of rich and sober fabric, were enormously too large for him in every measurement. The trousers hanging on his legs and rolled up to keep them from the ground, the waist of the coat below his haunches, and the collar sprawling wide upon his shoulders. Strange to relate that this ludicrous accoutrement was far from moving me to laughter. Rather, as there was something abnormal and misbegotten in the very essence of the creature that now faced me, something seizing, surprising, and revolting. I'm crouching, as you know. Where am I? Without. This fresh disparity seemed but to fit in with and to reinforce it, so that to my interest in the man's nature and character, there was added a curiosity as to his origin, his life, his fortune, and status in the world. These observations, though they have taken so great a space to be set down in, were yet the work of a few seconds. My visitor was, indeed, on fire with sombre excitement. "Have you got it?" he cried. "Have you got it?" And so lively was his impatience that he even laid his hand upon my arm and sought to shake me. I put him back, conscious at his touch of a certain icy pain along my blood. "Come, sir," I said, "you forget that I have not yet the pleasure of your acquaintance. Be seated, if you please." And I showed him an example, and sat down myself in my customary seat, with as fair an imitation of my ordinary manner to a patient as the lateness of the hour, the nature of my preoccupations, and the horror I had of my visitor would suffer me to muster. "I beg your pardon, Dr. Lyon," he replied civilly enough. "What you say is very well founded, and my impatience has shown its heels to my politeness. I come here at the instance of your colleague, Dr. Henry Jekyll, on a piece of business of some moment." And I understood. He paused and put his hand to his throat, and I could see, in spite of his collected manner, that he was wrestling against the approaches of hysteria. I understood. I drove. But here I took pity on my visitor's suspense, and some perhaps on my own growing curiosity. Is this interesting? Keep morning. I hope it is. It's very interesting to me. We're almost done with this chapter, and then we'll be almost done with this strip. Just like how I'm almost done with this whole cuckoo. Just like how I'm almost done with my hair. It's a mess. Yeah, whatever. "There it is," I said, pointing to the drawer, where it lay on the floor behind a table, and still covered with the sheet. He sprang to it, then paused, and laid his hand upon his heart. I could hear his teeth grate at the contortion of his jaws. Oh, well, I can do it. It's basically like, or something like that. But that's, now I think about it. Don't tempt something that you don't like doing. And his face was so ghastly to see. I grew alarmed both for his life and reason. "Compose yourself," I said. He turned a dreadful smile to me. And as if with a decision of despair, plucked away the sheet. At sight of the contents, he uttered one loud sob of immense relief that I sat petrified. What? Sat petrified. So I guess that's the noise. That would make me petrified if I just hear that noise coming out from a man, just like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, a sob of immense relief. I guess. That's my best guess. A sob of relief. I'm not certain. I'm not. I'm not a voice actor, so leave me alone. Leave me alone. Sorry. And at the next moment, in a voice that was already fairly under control, "Have you a grad? Have you a graduated class?" he asked. I rose from my place with something of an effort and gave him what he asked. He thanked me with a smiling nod, measured out a few minims of the red tincture, and added one of the powders. The mixture which was at first of a reddish hue, began in proportion as the crystals melted to brighten in color. To effervesce audibly and to throw off small fumes of vapor. Suddenly, and at the same moment, the ebullition ceased and the compound changed to dark purple, which faded again more slowly to a watery green. You still here, Kate Morning? I can't truly tell. Yeah, it says you're, or someone's here. Anyways, oh, watery, faded to a watery green. Ooh, this is kind of spooky. Hey, Christmas stories, spooky stories by the fireplace or whatever. I don't have a fireplace near me at the moment. No, I'm not at the moment. Not in this room. Anyways. My visitor, who had watched these metamorphoses with a keen eye, smiled, set down the glass upon the table, and then turned and looked upon me with an air of scrutiny. "And now," he said, "to settle what remains. Will you be wise? Will you be guided? Will you suffer me to take this glass in my hand and to go forth from your house without further parley? Or has the greed of curiosity too much command of you? Think before you answer, for it shall be done as you decide. As you decide, you shall be left as you were before, and neither richer nor wiser, unless the sense of service rendered to a man in mortal distress may be counted as a kind of riches of the soul." Oh, excuse me. Or, if you shall so prefer to choose, a new province of knowledge, new avenues to fame and power shall be laid upon to you, here in this very room, upon the instant, and your sight shall be blasted by a prodigy to stagger the unbelief of Satan. Sir, shut the fuck up. Sorry. Sir, I said, affecting a coolness that... That's right. I predicted that. Sir, I said, affecting a coolness that I was far from truly possessing. Oh. So he said in a non-cool way. Okay. Far from truly possessing. You speak enigmas. You will perhaps not wonder what you will perhaps not wonder that I hear you with no very strong impression of belief. But I have gone too far in the way of inexplicably services to pause before I see the end. It is well, replied my visitor. Leon, you remember your vows. What follows is under the seal of our profession. And now you, who have so long been bound to the most narrow and material views, you have denied the virtue of transcendental medicine. You who have dreaded your superiors, behold! He put the glass to his lips and drank at one gulp. Bleep. A cry followed. Ah! He reeled. He staggered. I don't know what staggering is. I'll probably Google it. He clutched at the table and held on, staring with injected eyes. Gasping with open mouth. Kind of like that, probably. And as I looked, there came, I thought, a change. He seemed to swell. His face became suddenly black. It's just, all of a sudden, he's just black. He's Samuel L. Jackson all of a sudden. He's just... I don't know what. This is exactly how white people perform blackface. Racism at its purest. Anyways. Okay, sorry. Anyways, black. Face. Where was I? His face became suddenly black, and the features seemed to melt and alter. Just melting. And in the next moment, I sprung to my feet and leaped back against the wall. Like that. Exactly like that. No other way. Oh, I dropped you. I didn't know I dropped you. Oh. My arms raised to shield me from the prodigy. My mind submerged in terror. Oh, God! I screamed. And, oh, God! Again and again, for there before my eyes, pale and shaken, and half fainting, groping before him with his hands like a man restored from death, there stood Henry Jekyll. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then Jekyll was like, literally this all it is like, the first is like this. Hey, Mr. Hyde. The Jekyll's like, I'm handsome now. Henry Jekyll! What he told me in the next hour, I cannot bring my mind to set on paper. I saw what I saw. I heard what I heard, and my soul sickened at it. And yet now, When that sight has faded from my eyes, I ask myself if I believe it, and I cannot answer. My life is shaken to its roots. Sleep has left me. The deadliest terror sits by me at, as it sits by me at all hours of the day and night. I feel that my days are numbered, and that I must die, in which he does die previously in the book. Remember, this is a letter and about an event that has happened prior to his death. So the man died. Well, this and I must die. Yes, you do. My days are numbered, and that I must die, and yet I shall die incredulous. As for the moral turpitude that man unveiled to me, even with tears of penance, I cannot, even in memory, dwell on it without a start of horror. I will say but one thing, Utterson, and that, if you can bring your mind to credit, will be more than enough. The creature who crept into my house that night was, on Jekyll's own confession, known by the name of Hyde, and hunted for in every corner of the land as the murderer of Carew. Hasty Lamb. So, the man could not tell the police, and said, "This man is Hyde." Because shortly he died. He wrote this, and then because of the fact that the events were so horrible, he eventually just gave up the ghost. I'll be right back. Oh, my legs. I had to leave a room. I had to leave the room to come back here. Okay, so that was that chapter. Wow. Ooh. Henry Jekyll's full statement of the case. So, Hasty gave the first report. Henry Jekyll then wrote his letter to the main character, Mr. Utterson, who's just now reading this. So, we first read the first letter. So, it was Mr. Lamb, Hasty Lamb, he decided to write a letter and then only have it open after he died. Okay, he didn't read. Our main character Utterson did not read it right away. It was delayed in the mail, probably. I don't remember. I don't recall. Well, it's been a while since we've read this, but I do recall they're the most famous reindeer of them all. I do recall that in the previous chapter, that Mr. Hyde didn't want to be confronted by the authorities and Mr. Poole. Mr. Poole was probably too strong for him. Mr. Poole. The doctor, that Mr. Utterson Mr. Utterson and Mr. Poole were going to burst into his room and seize Mr. Hyde. So Mr. Hyde probably either A, overdosed on the transformation vial, the drink, the beverage. He probably was trying to quickly, he was trying to force himself to quickly transform into back to Dr. Jekyll. So everything's fine. Um, but that was not so. He died. Either that or he decided to commit suicide because he is, after all, a separate individual, or technically different personality. So, but like with most alternate personalities, people's faces don't just automatically change, except for the doctors. um, excuse me. They definitely don't melt, as the book describes it. So it seems that Mr. Hyde's body, when he died, he didn't change back to Dr. Jekyll by the look, but from what's told. He stayed and died as Mr. Hyde. I fixed my hair. Huh. Took me this long. uh, it took me playing with my hair on stream, the changing. But yeah, it's an interesting story so far. That's Dr. Lehan's this perspective of what he saw prior to the death of Mr. Hyde. And he transformed into Dr. Jekyll. Um, why he didn't confess this? Probably because he was still loyal to his friend, and to a degree, to Dr. Jekyll. um, I don't know why Dr. Jekyll would experience this, but that would probably be the explanation in his letter, and we'll find out about that in the next live stream. We could continue reading, but it's a long chapter and it's a long explanation, and it's the final chapter. You always make sure that the final chapter is the longest, and by the looks of it, it's longer than all the other previous chapters. But anyways, there's also other stories in here, but we don't. But we're not going to go through all of them this year or throughout. We'll go through all of them, and obviously not this year, but we're not anytime soon. Definitely. We'll probably continue reading more from this book in particular. But as for the rest of the year, we'll finish the book, and then we'll continue. And then I've decided it would be wise that that chapter 2, and let's see how many more chapters here. We're at earned, not owed. So what we'll do is we'll read chapter 2. Yeah, we'll read chapter 2, and we'll see where we go from there. We'll pick up on chapter 2 on the Artificer. I might just finish the book. But yeah, so expect the new thumbnail for the Artificer chapter 2 next year, January. But mostly expect that if I don't do a live stream before the end of the year, then we'll finish this January. So either the end of the year, or sometime before the end of the year, right before Christmas, maybe. Definitely, I'll definitely try to aim either on Christmas, before Christmas, after Christmas, just before the end of the year, we'll get to the end of this book. So, until then, leave a like. Leave a like to this video. Comment down below your thoughts about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And if you read the book yourself, and what are your thoughts about it? Have you read other stories written by Robert Louis Stevenson? I think this is a great story. It's overrated so far. I'm gonna say it's overrated. Without reading any of his other works, that's probably what it is. It's probably an overrated story of Robert Louis Stevenson's books, but probably because it seems rather unique or unique enough. Okay, morning, even rather quiet. But yeah, so leave a like. Stay tuned for the next episode of On the Shelf. It is going to be the last Autobot of the year. Next year will be just Decepticons. I'll just do an On the Shelf thing of Decepticons. Next year I will also do Red Cog. I'll make more Red Cog videos. And then I'll make This Mean War videos of Red Cog. So I don't think I've made a single video of This Means War this year. But I mean, it feels like a rather short year, but also at the same time a kind of long year. So it's kind of surprised me how quickly time kind of just. But hey. We've made it this far, 2024. Let's hope we get to the next year. This time we'll do a lot better when it comes to like a lot of other videos and a lot of other content. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel videos will be published more often. So you'll definitely see more of us doing Yu-Gi-Oh! RavenWood Yu-Gi-Oh! Rally. You'll definitely see this completed, hopefully by the end of the year. Let's hope that we'll finally get this done. Get it done. Yeah. Well, we'll finally get this done, and then we'll go right back onto the shelf. No, not back onto the shelf. It'll go onto the shelf somewhere. And then expect me to do a end of the year on the shelf video. And then for season 3 of On the Shelf. I know so far we've only for season. I know so far season. Seems like season 2 is only. No, we've done Halo. We've only done one Halo, but I kind of want to do more Halo characters and stuff. But like right now at this moment, it's kind of hard to do that at the moment. Hard to collect that. I don't want to say too hard because like I'm very picky. I kind of want to do vehicles first, and then do like the characters. Not the big characters where they have like rather stiff movement, articulation and movement, but like the normal size characters. But also other than Halo, I don't know what other stuff to like kind of sort of collect and show off on the shelf. And I'm hoping that next year we'll do something else. Probably do some more like skit videos of like funny videos. Like play around with something. I don't know. Eventually, Triptychon will be transformed eventually, soon. Well, hopefully, Dominic will transform. Yeah, Triptychon on the shelf. Oh, and we'll also finish. Not finish. We also we will continue with the Ruby combat ready board game for On the Shelf. So stay tuned for that as well. Stay tuned for a lot of things, just a lot of things in general. I'm hoping to do some like gaming streams, but the setup right now is kind of, we're still like, figure things out and setting things up. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure a lot of things out. don't get me wrong. Eventually, we'll figure a whole lot of things out. But yeah, as far as it is, we'll continue streaming, just reading books. And we will probably talk more about movies. I do definitely want to talk about movies and whatnot. I don't want to go to like what is it called? I don't want to go nostalgia critic level of like discussing movies or whatever. I just kind of want to just talk, chillax about it. I might talk about old movies, new movies, current movies, modern movies, all kinds of movies. It depends. We'll figure that out as well. But yes, subscribe if you definitely want to see us progress. Ring the bell if you want to be notified on the progress. We're not making content. We're making progress. Like the progress, and remember, tip of the progress. I don't have a hat right now. We'll definitely wear new hats. We'll try to wear new hats. If not, we'll just wear the same old hats. Well, we'll definitely try to like have like new apparel to wear. Or right now it's just what we wear currently, but we don't have like, oh, here's what we look like on the set on the show. I'm not too. It's right now. It's just this. But as far as like hats, and whatnot, I kind of like doing like little hats and saying tip of the hat, yeah, because that's kind of the thing. But I also say if I'm not wearing a hat, so there you go. I will not be changing the profile picture anytime soon. I like this profile picture. I like this sticks right now. If I do change it, it's because of I've changed my mind and found something different or whatever. I might change the banner. I don't know. I kind of like the banner. It fits. It'll stay the same. But as far as profile pictures go on for like Twitter, everything else, that's playful. That's just being fun with it. Anyways, enough of that. See you all soon. Tip of the hat, y'all. And bye-bye.